Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to try and answer the one question that we are all asking. Will the Flood be in Halo Infinite? Now, I have touched on this quite a few times in videos already, but I wanted to make one final dedicated video on the topic because, well, I mean, do I really have to provide any reasoning considering who you're watching right now? So first, we are going to look at the canon evidence so far. One of the biggest possible hints are these wall engravings that right now you're probably quite sick of hearing people talk about. As of yet, we haven't found any form of hieroglyph or symbol or alternate alphabet that syncs up with it. Even those foreigner symbols from Halo 4 that look weirdly similar still don't match up. Because of this, the only way to analyze them right now is to look at the repeated symbols, and then substitute the symbols for letters to spell out a sort of rough translation. Now, obviously, this comes back with a lot of possible translations, over 800 to be exact, most of which make no sense whatsoever. That said, some do make sense, and when you consider these markings are very likely on Installation 07, engraved by ancient humans once on the ring that had a dark, twisted history with the Flood on the installation, you can start to link these phrases to the Flood and understand how they might be referencing them. The two translations that truly stand out from a list of over 800 are Enemy Within and Memos Larvae. Enemy Within could have been written by ancient humans, referring to the Flood, the parasite that was once within the ring that had been let free by Faber after his corruption by Mendicant Bias. It could also be referring to Faber inside the Flood research facilities on the ring, conducting violent experiments on the humans to try and find a cure for the Flood, or to Mendicant Bias, the AI that was judging the humans' worthiness and overseeing these horrendous experiments, the core of which was located literally within the ring. I really do hope this is the correct translation because it links to the Flood and the other horrifying events on the ring in so many ways, and I'd love to see those things in-game to some capacity, whether they're referenced or we even get to see them in terminals. Memos Larvae is a Latin phrase, loosely translated to mean ghosts from the past. Yet more connections to the Flood here. It could be referencing the humans that died on the ring due to Faber's experiments, or the human tribes that were consumed by the Flood when Faber released them from their containment under the orders of the Primordial. A few other translations worth sort of briefly noting are Enemy Outrun, Enemy Poison, and Enemy Dioxin, all of which could relate to the Flood, but in my opinion they are more of a stretch. The next piece of canon evidence relates to Cortana and her supposed logic plague. So, over the years since Halo 5, we've built so many theories, supported by evidence going back over a decade, that points towards Cortana's evilness in Halo 5 being caused by the Gravemind, who gave her the logic plague during his time with her between Halo 2 and Halo 3. Since then, 343 have given us new sort of little teasers and subtle hints that Cortana might have the logic plague, and if she does, it could mean big things for the Flood in Infinite. Having the plague means Cortana is essentially acting on behalf of the Flood, which spells out only one outcome. Now, it's not official yet that she does have the plague. The theory isn't sound, there are definitely holes in it, and there's definitely things that don't make sense, but overall, in my opinion, it's a solid theory, and like I've said, we've got some pretty strong hints and evidence that supports it before and after Halo 5, that suggests that maybe, just maybe, she might have the plague. There is also one more reason, but I'm going to get to that one later on in the video. There's also the fact that the game is very likely going to be set on Zeta Halo, a Halo ring with an incredibly deep past that connects to the Flood in more ways than most other Foreigner installations out there. This one fact alone is enough to convince me that the Flood will make some sort of appearance in the game. Whether it's small or large, I can't see a game being set on this ring and not having them. I can't see 343 choosing to set a game on Zeta Halo and not having the Flood pose some sort of threat in the story at all. It also lines up with what the rough cave writing translations point to as well, considering they're likely referring to the past horrific events involving the Flood on the ring. All in all, Zeta Halo, it really is the most convincing piece of evidence towards the Flood being in the game, in my opinion. I can't see 343 setting a game on Zeta Halo and not having the Flood involved in some way, shape or form. I really can't. Before we continue though, there is one more piece of evidence that I want to briefly discuss. So I can't tell you guys how many messages, comments, tweets, DMs, just about everything I've had since the Halo Infinite trailer came out, from people saying that there's a Flood tentacle or a Flood arm or infection form or something hidden in the corner of the start of the trailer. Now, I am yet to see a picture or angle of the trailer that convinces me that this is the case. I really haven't seen anything. Now, trust me, I've looked at these screenshots and these scenes with the brightness turned up. I've looked at them with contrast and vibrance and saturation and everything cranked up to 11, and I still can't see anything that even remotely looks like Flood. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I just have shit tier vision, but I feel like if there was a Flood form or something there, I definitely would have found it so far. If you really genuinely think that I've missed something and there's something Flood related in the trailer, tweet me a picture on Twitter at HiddenXperia. I would absolutely love to see any convincing evidence. You should also follow me on Twitter too, because of reasons. Right, now I want to move on to the evidence that doesn't pertain to the lore, and that's the sort of real-life, practical evidence. Now, in the past 3 years, Halo fans have made it very, very vocally clear that they aren't happy with the direction that Halo was going in, from art style to gameplay to just about everything. Since then, there's been a very clear change in direction from 343, showing that they are avidly listening to our feedback. We had post-launch Halo 5 content that catered to classic Halo more so than modern Halo in some areas at least, bringing back weapons like the Halo 2 battle rifle or the beam rifle or the plasma rifle, and then we had all of those classic armor sets too, the sort of latter portion of which were most definitely created as a direct answer to the absolute just whirlwind of complaints about the new Spartan art style. We then had Halo Wars 2, which was a game that not only featured an art style that fans had been begging for after Halo 4 and Halo 5, but also went a full mile and brought the Flood back after the sheer number of people online begging, theorizing, and just generally hoping for their return, myself included of course. Then we have the Halo Infinite trailer, almost entirely fueled by fan feedback, from setting to the music to the location to art style to Chief's armor. The one thing, the absolute one thing I never had any hope 343 would change was Chief's armor, and the absolute madmen went and did it. Very likely due to fan feedback. I think this, above all, shows how much they're listening and the degree to which they are listening to our communities. And with the massive fan base the Flood have, that's become more and more apparent these past couple years, it really wouldn't shock me if they listened to us as well. Post Halo 5, I really went in on Flood videos, and as you all know, they became pretty damn popular. Thousands upon thousands of people have loved and still do love them. This hasn't stopped either. It's no myth that quite a lot of the subscribers that I've gotten over the past couple years have been from these Flood videos, and normally whenever I make a Flood video, it does pretty damn well. I have shitloads of Flood videos that are well over 100, 200, 300,000 views and above. The bottom line is that the Flood have a very, very clear, massive fan base of people who are dying for them to return, just like the classic art style, and look how that turned out. From what we've seen so far from Halo Infinite, I think that awakening the nightmare for Halo Wars 2 might just be the beginning of 343 listening to us Flood fans pretty damn accurately. The same thing goes for Cortana having the Logic Plague too. That was a theory the community very clearly loved for the most part, and since all the videos and the posts about it, 343 gave us new subtle hints suggesting that we might be right. Now, whether the Logic Plague was always the plan is kind of up for debate. You can make the argument that 343 never intended to have Cortana have the Logic Plague, and they've just sort of changed direction because of us, but either way, that isn't really the point. The point is they are listening to us, and they have listened to us already, and I'll be very surprised if they don't listen to us about the Flood too. So all in all, I really wouldn't be that shocked if the Flood made an appearance in Halo Infinite. It's just the degree to which they make an appearance that I have no idea about. They could be a main enemy in the campaign, or they could just be teased in the Legendary ending. Honestly, I don't know. I want it to make canon sort of canonical sense. I don't want them just ham-fisted in there for no reason, but at the same time, your boy really, really wants the Flood back, as does so many other people, so I guess, like many other things, time will tell. Thank you to Ardent, Tomahawk, Taylor, Evan, Locust, Momo, Shikata, Foxy, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Manu, Jack Madden, Stefan Curcic, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Regan Sink, and Bruin98 for the big support over on Patreon as per usual. I really appreciate it. Thanks all for watching, guys. Do you think the Flood will return in Halo Infinite? Put your thoughts in the comments down below, because this is still a pretty contentious topic, and I'll catch you in the next one.